We have seen the protests many times before, workers demanding raises to $12 or $15 an hour. Well, this week, one group submitted a ballot proposal that would raise Colorado's minimum wage to $12 an hour within the next 4 years. Now, it's a plan that already has some opponents saying, while this might be affordable for some companies in Denver, it is not affordable for our small businesses and rural communities across Colorado.
Well, joining us now to talk about how this issue came about is Lisette Chacon, and she's with Colorado Families for a Fair Wage. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Let's define what is a fair wage.
Yeah, so we started out this campaign because we saw that there was a huge need in our community, and there's so many folks in Colorado that can't afford to put a food or plate in their table, right? So we decided to raise the minimum wage in Colorado to $12 an hour by 2020 because someone that is working minimum wage right now is bringing about $300 a week home, and that is not enough to pay rent, groceries, take care of their kids, and support their families.
Now, I know opponents say that if the initiative passes, it will cost workers their jobs, saying a recent independent study found that this 44% minimum wage increase would cost 90,000 Coloradans their jobs. Your argument is it actually would lead to more jobs?
Yeah, that's simply not true, right? We've seen that other cities and states that have increased the minimum wage have actually not seen a loss on jobs. And we know that when folks have more money in their pockets, they're going to spend more money, and they're going to put that money into our local economy.
Well, let me push back from the business side, because from the opponent they'll say, if I have a local business and I have to now pay my workers more money, how am I going to continue to make the same profits I'm used to? How has that worked out in other areas?
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen is that the same worry, right? When other cities started working on these proposals to increase the minimum wage, local businesses were worried. But I think after it passed, they saw that actually the economy was thriving and that folks were spending more money. I think that we know that, you know, our proposal is not going to be $12 an hour by 2017. It's $12 an hour by 2020. So we can allow local businesses to adjust as the minimum wage is increasing year after year.
Why $12 an hour? I mean, why not 13? Why not 11?
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations with community, right? Like, we've been working with actual workers that are out there not making ends meet, and we decided to go for 12 just because we felt that that was the right thing for Colorado at this time. And you know, in my opinion, 12 is a really modest increase. Other cities are pushing for 15, and for us, we just felt like that was the right thing for Colorado and something that we could push on for now. And then later on, after we win on November 8th, we can look at like what's next after this campaign.
You had to collect signatures, and we saw that you turned signatures in last week. What was the number that you had to hit, and how many signatures did you actually collect?
Yeah, this is a really exciting moment for us. So we collected 200,000 signatures. The amount of signatures that we need valid to qualify for the ballot is 98,452 signatures. So we completely overpassed our goal, and that just showed that, you know, when we were having conversations with folks about signing our petition, folks were excited because they were like, yes, I'm struggling, we need this. It's time for Colorado to raise the wages. And this just shows the incredible momentum that we've been able to create with our campaign, and that folks are seeing that this is needed and that this needs to happen in Colorado.
And why is this a state issue? I mean, you know, the cost of living in Denver is very different from what the cost of living in, say, San Luis is.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to have a statewide minimum wage to protect workers, right? But also, like I said earlier, we think 12 is a modest increase, and I think that 12 is something that we can have statewide, right? And we're working with local businesses that have endorsed our campaign in the rural areas and also in the Denver metro area that agree with us, that say, yes, we need to raise the wage. We need to make sure that our employers are happy at our jobs so we can have less turnover and that we can have a thriving economy for everyone.
When you look at all the other cities that have gone even higher to $15, we have Seattle, New York City, all of California, they all have $15 minimum wage, and different years where that would become finalized. Yeah. When it comes to, let's say the signatures are verified, you have enough to get on the ballot, how do you then pass the message to the voter? Here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, and look at these other places that have gone higher than us, so we're not even asking for that much.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's why we say that it's modest, but we also think that it's the right thing for Colorado, right? And I think that after we hear back from the Secretary of State, if we qualify, right, and we're hoping in that we would qualify, we want to make sure that we go out door to door and have face-to-face conversations with voters about why we're doing 12, who does this initiative actually impact, who are minimum wage workers in Colorado, and why it's important for voters to vote yes this November, and how critical this is for working families and for our economy overall.
Does a higher wage mean higher priced products? I'll start paying more to then compensate the business owner, who then has to pay the worker more.
Again, like, we haven't seen that happen in the other cities that have increased their minimum wage. I think what we've seen is that there's more worker productivity, right? There's a business out of Boulder that's called Polar Bottle that we've been working with, and they decided to increase the minimum wage for their workers about 3 years ago, and completely changed the way the workers were showing up at work, right? And it actually increased productivity, and they are more successful now than they were before, right? I think it's time for us to invest in workers, and it's hard to live in our communities now, right? We all know that the price of rent is increasing, everything is increasing, but our wages are not increasing. So it's time for us to prioritize workers.
Lisa Chacon, thank you so much for being with us. And voters, November ballot, you'll be seeing this issue.
We'll be right back.